Carpenter's going to turn it around. He's going to turn it around. Why do you think? I mean, he's getting older. It's not like we're talking about a 27-year-old kid who's off to a bad start, who's had, in his 3 previous seasons, great second half. Yeah, he had a great second half last year. No doubt about it. But he's a year older, and he stays hurt. And I don't know about you, but in fantasy, I don't need a bunch of old guys who stay hurt on my fantasy rosters. 216, 10 home runs, 28 RBIs. Is he worth a flyer? I don't have him. He's a free agent in some leagues. I don't have him. I'm not adding him. Now, I may go back and regret that later. But I haven't seen anything to indicate durability, sustainability, or anything that will create an image in my mind of Carpenter repeating 2018. Now, if the baseball is wound so tight, anybody can hit it out, yeah, I guess so. And disagree with me. George says I'm a so-called non-expert. Okay, I'm a non-expert myself. I don't think it's worth the move. But you may disagree with me. And what about Munoz, who's playing in his stead, hitting .307, 2 for 3 yesterday with a stolen base? Does he continue to play? You know, the Cardinals, I'm just saying, they're 2 games out of the division lead. They're in the wild card hunt. Only 2 games out of the wild card hunt. But it's like they're a team spinning around in circles. Show me something that indicates a movement forward, and so far, well, frankly, I've not seen it. Which takes me to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And of course, when you're talking about the Pirates, look at the first half MVP. Excuse me. I had a cough this morning. Josh Bell. Wow. What a first half. Leads the National League in RBIs. He's hitting .302. 27 homers, 84 RBIs. That's right, you heard me, guys. 84 RBIs. Now, is that sustainable? Yeah, I see. Dwayne Kuiper. I remember Dwayne Kuiper. Back in the 70s, I got to stop here on Josh Bell, go back to the Pirates in a moment. But back in the 70s, when I was huge into collecting baseball cards, right? And you get your players, and you know, back then there was only Topps, and so that was it. Those were the great days. I mean, bring back the days of just Topps and nothing else. That was the biggest problem with the baseball card industry in the 80s, is when you had all these companies making all these cards, and oh my gosh. But you get a Dwayne Kuiper and look at the back of his stats, and it would read something like this. You know, it would have at bats, runs, hits, and then you get the home runs and RBIs. 1 home run, 23 RBIs. And my brother and I used to go through and we would compare stats and we would keep count, like who had the most categories. And so, for example, you would never do this, but take a Dwayne Kuiper and put him up against a Reggie Jackson on a baseball card. I mean, Reggie, slaughters him. Bill Madlock, he was great for comparison on baseball cards back in the day because he always had a high average. Anyway, just an aside. Every pack had a Dwayne Kuiper. How about, do you remember this kid, Angels? Go check him out. 1975 Topps, Horatio Pena for the Angels. In 1975, I guarantee you, if I opened a pack of 75 Topps, I had Horatio Pena in every pack of cards. And I've never heard of him before. I've never heard of him since. But if you're a Horatio Pena baseball card collector, I am your man. I can make a trade any day of the week. I can pull out my 75s, and we got a deal. So, George, I'm empathizing with you. Getting back to the Pirates. Josh Bell. Do you trade? I've said don't trade him because I think he's going to continue to drive in runs in that Pittsburgh lineup. And the reason he's got players around him like Starling Marte. 279 average, 12 homers, 45 ribs, 13 stolen bases. Brian Reynolds. What a game yesterday. 2 for 4 with a homer and 4 RBIs against the Brewers. Check out his line. He hasn't played all year and he's hitting .347, 7 homers, 33 RBIs. Cervelli says, I'm not going to catch anymore. Well, what are you going to do, Cervelli? You can't hit either. You're hitting 193 with a homer. I guess Cervelli said, I'm just not going to play. But I tell you who is Kevin Newman. Are you digging him lately? 327 average, 6 homers, 33 RBIs, 6 stolen bases since going into the leadoff spot. I think he's been moving around some lately in the batting order. Yesterday went 2 for 4. On Saturday went 4 for 5 with a homer. I don't know where they got him, but they need to keep him. And then there's my Tar Heel alum, Colin Moran, who for some reason has decided to start hitting like crazy. 294 on the year, 10 homers, 49 RBIs. Over the weekend against Milwaukee, in 11 at-bats, he got 7 hits, drove in 3. He's got 10 hits through the Pirates' first 6 games of July. He's number 6 in the order, and he's hitting the ball. The Pirates are certainly a team to look out for in the second half. And then, of course, in the last place, we got the Reds. But they got some players, and I tell you, Yasiel Puig has upped his average to 257. Hits in 5 straight games, and in those 5, multiple hits in 4 of those 5, with 3 home runs. 20 home runs on the year, 51 RBIs on the year, 13 stolen bases on the year. He went 2 for 4 against Cleveland yesterday, 3 for 4 against Cleveland on Saturday with a homer. In the previous series against Milwaukee, the last 3 games of that series, he went 5 for 11 with 2 home runs. So Yasiel Puig is heating up. Senzel, you knew it was a matter of time. I mean, Senzel, it's like he wears his number on his back, he wears his name on his back, but somewhere in there it's like, I'm going to get injured soon. Now it's another ankle injury. He's listed day to day. How long is he going to be out? I don't know. The kid can hit, but not that great. Come on. He's not like he's hitting 320. He's hitting 263. 8 homers, 27 RBIs. I tell you who is hitting, though. He's cool. Didn't get a hit the last 2 days, but Jesse Winker's finally started hit. He's at 250. 13 homers. And, of course, I've talked about him before. Suarez, 20 homers. Andrea's whined and complained because he hadn't hit. He's streaky, I know. But he's got 20 homers and 54 RBIs. And George says, I remember Hippolito Pena and Elvis Pena. Yeah. They are a dime a dozen. I tell you, there are some other kids that were in those packs of cards that you could get just countless numbers of. You could never get a Pete Rose or a Steve Garvey or a Nolan Ryan. You know, those were hard to find back in the day. But Rick Auerbach, did you ever get a lot of his cards? Rick Auerbach. Ellie Rodriguez for the Angels. Go look up these players. They have cards. Ellie Rodriguez for the Angels back in the mid-'70s. Another member of that 75 Topps baseball card class that you could get in every pack. It was just absolutely incredible. We got a division to cover and only got 6 minutes left. So there's going to be no futures discussion in this show. We will have that another time. I've got it ready. And I think it's important to go through that, but we have not had time to do that today. I want to look at the Atlanta Braves and their players and who has been the Braves. There's so many. I got to talk about Acuna and Freeman, the double-headed monster. Acuna 292 on the first half, 21 homers, 53 RBIs, 13 stolen bases. Freddie Freeman 309 average, 23 homers, 68 RBIs. What a double-headed monster that is for the Braves. Ozzie Albies streaky, I know, but he's been streaking good lately. 290 on the first half, 14 homers. Josh Donaldson, 250 on the first half, 18 home runs, and he homered yesterday. And, of course, there's my main man, Austin Riley, who's a great ad. His average has dropped some, but his home run power has not. He's at 257 average. And I think Riley's a 250 to 260 average hitter, but he's going to give you a lot of home runs. You know, he didn't start the year in Atlanta, and he already has 16 home runs at the break. 41 RBIs. Dansby Swanson, .270 average, 17 home runs in the first half, 57 RBIs. The question is going to be, what do they do with Inciarte when he comes back? And Inciarte's been moving rehab. He's at Double-A Mississippi. It looks like he's ready to come back after the break. He's probably going to be the fourth outfielder going forward. And then you've got Atlanta and all their pitching. I haven't even mentioned pitchers on this show, but Keuchel had a great outing yesterday. 7 1/3, 2 earned, only 1 walk, gave up only 5 hits. He is going to pitch Friday in pitcher-friendly Petco Park in San Diego. He's been, the last 2 starts, what the Braves need, because Fried and Soroka, their last starts, did not pitch particularly well. The bullpen has improved. Luke Jackson, 14 saves. Maybe they finally settled him. He hasn't given up an earned run since late in June. Atlanta poised to continue to rule and dominate that National League East. The Washington Nationals, you got to talk about Scherzer. I mean, his numbers over the last month of June, incredible. He went 7 innings on Saturday against Kansas City, 4 hits, no earned, 11 strikeouts. Check out these strikeout totals over the last 6 starts for Scherzer, and I'm going from July 6th back to June 8th. 11, 14, 10, 10, and 9. His numbers on the year, he's now 9-5. In the beginning of the year, into May, he had a losing record. He's 9-5 now. He won 6 games in the month of June, went 6-0. 181 strikeouts, a 2.30 ERA, and a .98 whip. And you got to know he is the favorite for Cy Young. I told you they have 3 starters with 125 strikeouts or more. Steven Strasburg's 10-4, 138 strikeouts. He struck out 14 in his last start on July 3rd. And while I'm at it, how about Corbin? 7-5, 129 strikeouts, a 3.34 ERA. He pitched yesterday, 7 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts, and no walks. This pitching staff is for real, folks. And they're not going anywhere except back on the mound to continue to dominate. Washington's certainly a player going forward. I think all I have time left for now are the Phillies, which works out pretty good because that's the last team probably in contention. So let's look at some batters. Bryce Harper, 253, 16 homers, hits in 5 straight games, 62 RBIs, heating up at the right time. JT Realmuto hits in 6 straight games. He's up to 273 with 10 homers. Jay Bruce, the free agent add, 24 home runs. Yesterday went 3 for 4 with 2 homers. On Saturday against the Mets, 1 for 5 with a homer. He's got hits in 6 straight games. The Phillies are hitting the baseball. The problem with Philadelphia is pitching. Arrieta, day-to-day, he stinks. His ERA is up to 4.67. Pitching Saturday in 4 1/3, he gave up 5 earned and 11 hits. Doesn't do much for your whip. But Aaron Nola, let's end on a positive note. His last 4 starts exemplary. Only 2 earned runs total in 4 straight starts. He pitched 8 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings, and 6 2/3 innings, striking out double digits in 2 of those. Nola finally looks like with 124 strikeouts on the year, he is back. He's the Nola that the Phillies expected. So that's a look at the National League, some players from the first half. Next show, we'll take a look at the American League. I'm out of time. No Baseball Day Home Run Derby tonight. Check that out. Support our podcasters. Thank you for being in the chat room today. Have a great Monday, everybody. This is Arnie for Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports.